Hello guys, it is your boy Retro Boy World here, and we are back here to talk about the new patch notes on Warriors of Lore. So yeah, anyways guys, this is patch 9.01.05, and there recently has been 6 new reworks and nerfs as well. I've already gone over 2 other ones, which was the spotlights I did for the re-releases of Soleo, which basically he just got reworked, his third ability got reworked. It still has not been confirmed that Quinn has had his rework, but Emperor Quinn apparently, his third ability, his ultimate ability actually has been reworked, as before it was just a shield and it just increased the actual damage of his passive ability. And the shield got stronger the more missing health he had, so they basically replaced the missing health with just a normal base shield, but also gave him basically damage reduction and gave him an aura of damage, so now you can do double damage, which is kind of weird. For some reason I must have missed something last patch, because for some reason the game is starting to seem like it's becoming more imbalanced, as they're more of nerfing like already heroes that already weren't even that good to begin with and buffing ones that were already broken. It just doesn't make sense, but I'm figuring that somehow, some way, some of these heroes are just, I guess, the new heroes, because there has been a new hero that has been released during this patch that I have to get to as well. But basically, I guess since this new hero dropped and everybody's been playing him, he's been overly broken with a lot of other characters, so they've decided to nerf. I don't know how this is working, but the game seems to be clearly off balance, and they're trying to balance it by making characters more broken than before and nerfing ones that really weren't played as much. Which it should have been the other way around. They should have nerfed the broken ones, and then I don't know how the developers think anymore. But yeah, basically we got a lot of shit to talk about here. Yeah, so the people that basically got nerfed and reworked is Guan Yu, Scarlet, Teeny, Red Boy, Axel, and then Wayix, of course. He's the last guy we're going to put on this list. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and hop into Guan Yu and talk about what got nerfed with her. So yeah, I'll see you guys right now. So starting off with Guan Yu. Yeah, so she got, apparently, as the notes say, Guan Yu's ultimate. Her ultimate Familiar's protection has basically been nerfed. It used to have like a 400 base magic shield, and now it's like, I think in the 200. Yeah, well, actually, it's in the 100 range. Well, it used to be, okay, I got this all fucked up. I didn't read this right. It used to be in the base 600 range. Now it's in the 500 range. So they just knocked the 100 range off. Now it's a basic magic shield. They also knocked the regen down from 60 to 58, which is not that really that I don't know. I don't think that's really that much of a change. But it does mean basically faster depletion of health and shields, which basically makes her less of a valuable player in combat. She was kind of broken. Her ultimate, to be honest, was kind of an annoying thing to deal with, as if you built the right items on her, which is a lot of health and defense regen and stuff like that, if you popped her first ability and tried to use her ultimate on top of her third ability, she was just basically unkillable. All she had to do was just poke the entire game. Poke, not to mention her first ability does damage as well, but all she really had to do was just poke, run, cast her ultimate, cast her second ability again, poke a little bit, run, then just rinse and repeat, and she just became stupidly broken, bro. I understand why she got nerfed, but nobody ever plays Guan Yu in ranked anymore. Like, she's not that good of a support hero. She's always been this is the first nerf she's ever had. She's always been one of the weaker links in terms of supports, as, I don't know, she doesn't get played that often. Not very good of a support. There's other supports on here that, don't have really the healing effect, but still do make up for it in other strategic ways of using their abilities. And yeah, that's basically all for Guan Yu. She is basically a 1-star support, and that's basically where she's been since I can remember. So yeah, let's get on to the second character on this list, which is going to be Scarlet, which is an assassin, a 1-star assassin, and we're going to talk more about her when I get into her. So we're talking about Scarlet, as previously said before. She is a one-star assassin, meaning that she's very easy to acquire, and her kit basically has no type of kit quality to it. Basically, they're just basic kits. Just like it's like Thor from Smite. You can't really lose. It's not really hard to play Thor. His abilities are basic as fuck, and basically her abilities are pretty spot on. It's not hard to get used to playing this assassin, though she's a one-star. So there's nothing intriguing about her kit, as it often gets her killed, to be honest with you, because she's very squishy. Like, she doesn't get, you have to build pure damage with her, because any type of tank abilities or anything else like that just don't work on her. She just a pure AD carry assassin. The notes basically say that Scarlet's ultimate Final Bite has a smaller slow radius now, and her second ability does less damage than before, which sounds stupid as fuck if you ask me, because she was never really that much of a damage dealer. I guess when you build the right items, she can become one of the most broken assassins in the game. This is her first ability. Of course, this is her second ability. Does 286 damage now. I guess it did more before, about in the 300 range. Now it's down to the 200 range. They didn't change the attack speed of her basic attack. They still made her final attack do 300, but her second ability only does in the 200 range, which is annoying. So her ultimate Final Bite does have a smaller radius, actually. This used to be a much bigger radius, as back then it would take up like majority of like half the battlefield if you're playing on one lane. Which is Realm, if you're playing Realm. Well, Realm is actually 2 lanes, but if you're playing the 1 lane, basically it had a way bigger slow range and did way more damage. But that's fine. It's totally fine. Let's go ahead and get Orbo Frong here to show you how slow, what the slow does. So it does slow him down, as he can't catch up to me. If I activate it again, he is slowed. Also, her second ability has decreased attack, which is kind of annoying. But she's always been an okay assassin. She's always had a fucking engage. This right here was always her bread and butter. But Final Bite was the final kill on every attack, as you would normally go ahead and then cast it right then as soon as you basically popped out of water, and then finish it off. Her third ability is still the same as well. Just gives you increased damage against an enemy that's marked. Okay. So basically, they nerfed. They basically nerfed Guan Yu's and Scarlet's like laning and carry capabilities significantly, which is going to be a problem for those who actually like to main these characters. Because I know that there's some people who main Scarlet because that's the first hero they've acquired. Mine was Wolfric. I am a Wolfric main. One of my top 10 favorite heroes, and he belongs in all of my AD carry lists because he's pretty broke. Yeah, on to the next hero, which basically these are the reworks. So the first rework we got was, of course, Teeny. I don't know why, but Teeny was the first rework, so let's go ahead and hop into her. So with Teeny, yeah, she just got a rework entirely. It's mainly with her ultimate, as the patch notes say. They're saying that a lot of people have had struggles with dealing with Teeny in terms of gameplay, because she can be either overly broken or stupendously weak. So people have been telling me they've been saying that they've been having problems with her. So they decided to nerf her by basically reworking her. Instead of actually nerfing, they actually buffed her. She got a rework on her ultimate, allowing her to basically suck multiple enemies in instead of just one, as it was before. And it also allowing her to use her second ability instantaneously, as well as giving her 2 chase abilities, in other words. So she can either chase and escape, depending on how you use them. So she can now suck multiple enemies in, which is kind of annoying. But it does give her a little bit of more like lane pressure, I guess you could say, because her first ability, how do I say this? Her first ability just basically gives her increased movement speed, but when she lays down a pot and she uses her first ability, she can simultaneously enter the pot again, and then, you know, teleport, which increases for lane ability. The animation for it is still not too smooth. Yeah, but I don't know how to explain this. So if I place another one here, I can instantaneously use my second ability just by using my ult. Yes, my ult does actually allow me to travel. So in other words, I can travel twice. Bam, go to a next pot that I've used my ultimate, get sucked in, go to the other one, use that one to get sucked in, and just basically just allow myself to play with the enemy. Which is, it's kind of I don't think this nerf was necessary. I mean, this rework was necessary. I think that her ultimate, just being able to, you know, suck in multiple enemies at once is, I think, good enough. But I guess that wasn't good enough for them. They also had to simultaneously play around with her whole waterworks system, which is fine. She is a support, a 3-star support, so she is very good for laning. I think, in my opinion, she's probably one of the best support laners. There's a couple of other ones that I want to put on that list, but she's for sure in that category. But that's pretty much all for Teeny. Now it's time to check out Red Boy, who's a mage, a 2-star mage. He also got a rework, and yeah, let's check him out. So, excuse me. Now with Red Boy. Now with him, all that really was done to him is they just basically buffed him up like a motherfucker. He wasn't really much of a rework. All they did, I mean, yes, technically he did get reworked, as they did change. They changed his first ability to a toggle instead of an auto cast, and they basically just removed the timer. So before, this would eventually explode after a while by itself instantaneously. Now it just lasts for as long as you want it to, or until you basically run out of shield damage. So I just auto cast and bam. But yeah, that's pretty broken. They also removed the timer for that, which basically they swapped it out with increased damage from his ultimate ability. His ultimate ability, bam, knocks everything up once he lands. They also removed the stun from his third ability. So before, this used to stun enemies, now it doesn't anymore, unfortunately. And basically just replaced that with even more damage. All they did was just give himself more damage. He's basically like the Odin clone of Smite. He's like his equivalent. You know, pop the shield, jump in, boom, then blow your other shield up, and just stupid amounts of increased damage. I don't think that he actually deserved a rework. I think he deserved a nerf, if anything. Red Boy's always been, as like a fucking 2-star mage, he's always been on the top of the food chain in terms of like first picks in normal matches, rather than rank. I do a lot of training matches. I used to do rank matches. I don't do them anymore, but now I just do training matches just to test out new builds on certain characters. Rank matches usually take too long to get into, and they're really like laggy because I'm on a whole different server, so very hard. But yeah, unfortunately, it sucks. But yeah, it sucks. And that's all that was for Red Boy. These guys basically just have like little baby reworks that's basically going on. Little small little reworks every now and then. Little mechanics and little changes and little subtle effects that they've done that can either change and alter a character for the better or worse. Mostly increasing a character's fucking capabilities or removing them in Scarlet's case. In Red Boy's case, it just basically increased Teeny's and Red Boy's lane pressure, as they can apply a lot more pressure now. They removed his stun for increased damage. He can just jump in with his ults, pop his shield first, jump in with his ult, boom. Let his shield explode. And yeah, they just basically made him even more stronger than he already was, which is not a good idea. But on to the last two guys, which are Axel and Wayx. They have basically subtle, in my opinion, they have subtle reworks. It's mainly just cosmetics that they really went for in terms of animations and stuff like that. But the focus seems to be mainly on 1-stars, as like half of this is basically 1-star heroes and the other half is like 3 stars, 2 stars and above, capping at 3 stars. So I don't know why they went for like the characters that nobody plays, why they would nerf them. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe that they're coming out with new heroes that might be a little bit good, that might be weaker counters to them, and that's why they nerfed them ahead of time. I don't know, I'm just theory and speculation, but yeah, let's go and hop into Axel and see what he has to offer. So with these last two heroes, I'm just going to show them back to back or side by side, since their reworks are very subtle and really not that much to talk about or intriguing as the others on this list. We're going to go start off with Axel, who's a fighter, 1-star. He can also be used as an AD carry if you build him properly, but most people try to build him with a little bit of tankiness, just because if not, then he does get kind of weak after a while. As the game progresses, he does become a liability, and he's been known to do that for a long time. So hopefully this rework would change some things, and it did. He also got a skin rework. Now this is Gold Axel. His abilities now actually have the gold effect. Before it was just the same like color as red, just the skin changed. So now he's pretty cool looking. All of his abilities are still the same. Nothing really changed with them. He's still pretty cool. He's always been a fun hero to play. He's a 1-star. He's easy to pick up. One of the first heroes you're gonna pick up, and he's always known for just doing like subtle amounts of damage. But he does fuck shit up. Actually, he's not the worst hero in the game, but he's not the best fighter. You can play him as a tank enforcer, AD carry, though AD carry is not recommended because, like I said, he does get pretty weak later on in the fight. During team fights, he will be the first person to go if you don't pop your ultimate first before you engage, because that is basically your bread and butter. Yeah, he doesn't really have any poke, doesn't have any chase. He just has like full on fucking beat the shit out of you mode. Basically, that's about it. So yeah, that just makes his animations gold. And in addition to this, also his ultimate Giga Cleave pulls enemies towards him in addition to the cleave damage. His basic attack damage has been increased from 90 to 200 to 100 to 300. Let's test that out. Yes, that's true. It's now doing a little bit more damage. It's going from 100 to 300. Final attack. Yes, perfect. So his ultimate also pulls enemy towards him in addition to an additional cleave. Before, I remember his ultimate would just cleave enemies, and that was basically it. It was basically like just a help counter. It was basically like a counter up for his ultimate, his third ability, which made him all big and stronger and made his attack speed faster the lower his health got. Now he gets increased cleave damage as well, which is pretty dope. And also it increases his basic attack along with gravitating enemies towards him, which is pretty cool if you ask me. I think that's a pretty neat rework that they added there. But yeah, that's about pretty much it for Axel. So and then of course there's W.O.L. Now W.O.L is a 3-star tank or an enforcer if you want to play him as one. The difference between a tank is that a tank is just bulky. You can't really dish out a lot of damage as a tank. An enforcer is the same thing as like a combination between a warrior and a tank. Basically, you can be beefy and deal out damage by yourself. So you can take damage and dish it just as equally, and that's basically what the enforcers do. Though that's a small little selection of enforcers. Though there's not many of those I can say that are. I was gonna put Barracuda on this list, but he is not an enforcer. He's a pure tank, and that's just that. W.O.L is what you want to call an enforcer. He's the mix between both of the genres. He can stun. He can just do AoE damage. He can play as tank as doing a lot of AoE damage. That's just his main thing, is doing AoE damage while being able to tank a lot of hits. What they did with him is that W.O.L.'s third ability, Stone Ascension, now stuns more often. It was 0.8 seconds, now it's 5.5 seconds. So here I'm stunning them after every 0.5 seconds, and I think it lasts a little bit longer than before. They also reworked his animations to be a lot smoother. Before, his animations had a lot of fucking glitches to them. So basically now he becomes bigger, better, badder, and just overall pretty dope. He does have a shield. I forgot to mention that. And he's just probably one of the better fighters, better fucking tanking forces in this game. And basically for these two heroes, they just make these heroes more durable. And overall damage output in team fights has been increased with these guys, as their fighting capabilities has led them to be more involved in, I guess, the fights. Yeah, I guess we're going to do a match next. I'm going to have to do a match next with these reworked characters. We're going to start off with Axel, Weyx, and then probably Guan Yun as a little support, and just see what really changed about them. We're not going to be using their ultimates, though their ultimates is what really been reworked. I just kind of want to see what else, like in game, what else has been reworked, and then we'll focus on playing with their ultimates later on. But yeah, guys, that's all I had to offer you guys for this new 9.1.5 updates for you guys on Warriors of Lore. We'll be back with some more content. I will be bringing out some gameplay as well as the new hero that's recently been brought out to this patch. And hopefully we'll see what else happens. Hopefully no more nerfs and hopefully no more buffs. That's pretty much all I don't want to see anymore. But only time will tell. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have, make sure to like, subscribe, give me some feedback. And as always, fans, till next time, bye-bye.